It's me again. I'm sorry. Maybe you got the wrong channel or the wrong place. But I'm Matthew Lesko. I'm going to show you how to get free money and help to do almost anything you want in life. I mean, that's what we're here for. I mean, I really believe that there's stuff out there for you to do what you really want to do in life, and you can get it for free. You know, everybody's out charging you thousands or tens of thousands of dollars for stuff. You know, and somebody says, I can't do that because I don't have a lot of money. Well, now you can. Pay attention to this show. And today we have some great people. Actually, one, if they ever show up, I'm a little worried about. But let me show you the first slide. Number 2, this is Dominique Broadway. Now, she's an interesting woman that was supposed to be here, but she's not here yet. So we'll see if she makes it. But at 12, she was the vice president of a vending machine company. At 15, she was the CEO of a computer learning company. Then she graduated from college and went to work for a brokerage firm, you know, and then chucked that out. Chucked it all after a couple of years and started her own financial planning. So we want to find out from her, how did she get over those hurdles to go out and do what she want to do? And the other, one of the other guests we have live, not fresh frozen like on the phone or something, but no, live in the studios, right in the back, is Ryan Lane. Now, he's been a successful lawyer, you know, and he had a life-changing experience that we'll talk to you about. And here, look at the screen. This is what he does now. Yeah. he turned himself into an inventor of the Yogo mat. This is a mat for exercising in yoga. And he's an entrepreneur and raised $20,000 in 20 days on the web. So he's going to tell us about that, how he did that, and what are the problems of that. And what's neat about him is that he failed first. You know? So he's going to tell us how he got over that failure and went out and got the 20 grand. The first time he didn't do it. And Shane's on the line. We're going to talk to him a little later. And he's going to tell you how to start a nonprofit without having to hire a lawyer. There's no need to hire an attorney and spend thousands of dollars or whatever they charge now, you know, for you to, you know, become a 501c3 or whatever you want to do. And he's going to talk about that. He'd be on the phone. And the other thing we're going to talk about, you know, I hope there's time. There's got to be time because I want to talk about this. I just found there's 99,541 people that could call the government now and get $1,547 each. The government's sitting on it. It's like over $150 million. The government doesn't need it. So don't be dumb. Hang around. Find out who you're going to call. You know, to see if you're one of those 100,000 people to do that. Well, the first I want to talk about is there's something going on. Yeah, you come back to me. Thank you. Thank you. There's something going on in our country now. Another financial problem, I think, that maybe have a bubble and maybe it's going to burst someday, but it's a big growth and it's going to cause a lot of people a lot of heartache, I think, before this settles up. So run this video and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Hi, I'm Fred Thompson. And you know, if you're like a lot of folks out there lately, then finances might be a little tight. Well, maybe it doesn't have to be that way. Because if you're 62 years or older and own your own home, then join hundreds of thousands of other Americans who have used a reverse mortgage as a safe, effective financial tool. A government-insured reverse mortgage allows seniors to stay in their own home and to turn their equity into tax-free cash without any monthly mortgage payments. You ought to call my friends at AAG. They could help you or your parents right now. And to find out more is absolutely free.
Call 1-800-848-7173 now to receive your free DVD and brochure with no obligation.
Find out how much cash you may qualify for. Call AAG today.
Call 1-800-848-7173 now to get your free Better Life information pack and DVD. That's 1-800-848-7173.
AAG.
No, you don't want to
advice for a better life.
Don't call that number, whatever you do. That's a complicated product. You know, it's going to sound great. Sure, I'm old, and you know, I got all this money in the house, and I get the money before I die, and everything. Now, it's not as simple as that. And show the next slide. I'll show you what's coming up on this thing. It's called a reverse mortgage. And it's going to be one of those, in my mind. See, this is what's happening in the demographics. This is the people over 60 years old in our population. It's going to double in the next 20 or 30 years. So, and these are the people, the elderly, that are eligible for this new mortgage, called reverse mortgage. But beware of this thing, man. You could lose your home. You could lose so much money. It's expensive money. Look, I mean, here's some news items of people lost their money. Here's another news item. If you go Google this thing, about reverse mortgage, you'll see all the problems. So if your parents, your grandparents, or yourself, if you're a senior now, thinking about it, these are people lost a house because of the fine print. The same thing. Anytime the financial industry gets involved in something, you really have to be careful. They're advertising on TV. That means they're appealing to something else than your intelligence, and that you're going to get suckered into one of these things. And here's another thing with this thing. Okay, leave this slide up because we'll get to that soon. But here's another problem with these, is that the government guarantees it. So when the government guarantees it, that means there's no risk for the bank, and that they're selling you money. So it's a way for them to sell money. They're going to sell you money in reverse. So whether it's your mother or father or something, they're thinking about one of these reverse mortgages. Get a lot of information before you do any of these bloody things, because it may not be worth it. There's an outside chance it may be for you, but it's likely not. Now let's go back to the other slide first. Okay, Tony. Yeah, leave that one up for a while. Because this is what you have to know. I mean, see, of those that are out there now, almost 10% are at risk of foreclosure. And the normal rate for foreclosure is like 1% on mortgages. So remember, these people are selling you money. And it sounds sweet, because you get the money up front, you don't have to worry about it, but it is a very complicated product. Let me run, I don't know what happened to Darish, but we'll run some of his thing. Go through let's see what Darish number 1 says. I see Darish number 1. Okay, so the next Darish, that's his, but he's not here. But see, Darish is with the HUD counseling office. Now, what the government has done is for these counseling offices, that's where you can go to get help. Go number 2. Who qualifies for these? Okay, here's the next. Go to the next one. People 62 years or more, paid off your mortgage or a considerable portion, you occupy the property as a primary resident, not be delinquent with federal debt, and participate in HUD-approved counseling. So you have to get one of these loans, you have to go to counseling. The counseling will charge you if you have money. If you have very little money or something, then they won't charge you for that. But even before you get to the counseling, before you do any of this stuff by investigating these reverse mortgages, because you're going to see more of this on television. Like all the cable news people, that's what the old people watch. So you see the ads from that ex-senator who used to be on CSI or whatever, that he's promoting this thing, And I'm sure they're legitimate. Legal is something different than, I'm sure they're legal, they're following the law, but it's not a good consumer product. It's just like student loans. You have to be very careful. It's just like these for-profit universities that call you. Anybody's advertising on TV, I fall into that category, unfortunately. You have to be very careful of, because they have to make a lot of money to pay for that TV. So they're going to make a lot of money out of you. So the thing to do, if you're ever considering a reverse mortgage, do not call the company, okay? Because that's the last place you want to go. You almost want to be convinced that you want this, before you call the company. So how do you find information about all this stuff? Okay, go to number 24. We'll take a look at that. See, 24. Okay, now here's the hidden truths about these reverse mortgages. Okay, the elder might need care home. That means you have to nursing home. So if you have to go in a nursing home, before you die, man, you're SOL. Oh, they're after me now, and they know about it. Okay, no, that's a man. Somebody else. Okay. So, and that's going to screw up your life and screw it all up. Also, it can affect any dependent you have living in a home. So if you die, I mean, they're going to kick the people out of the home, maybe. So you have to. It can go into default. If you don't pay your taxes and things like that, then they take over your house. I mean, it's not, and you're not going to understand the fine print of all that nonsense. They're just going to have a good answer for everything question you have. They've heard it before, and they've practiced the best answer in the world to make sure that they look terrific, and you'll never understand all the ifs, ands, or buts, and complications of this thing. So the heirs may have to pay off the thing too, and also it's really a loan product. So they're lending you money. And that's more expensive than you could get anywhere else. You get other kind of loans a lot cheaper than this. So why pay the expensive one just because it sounds nice? Because they got you. They got you because you called some sweet voice on the phone, and you're not going to do the investigation because now this person's your friend and they're going to help you and make you feel that they could help you every step of the way. So you got to get armed. If you're thinking about one of these things, you have to get armed first. Okay, how do you find out? Okay, I mean, you can Google and get reports, but the real best place, put up 25, the Consumer Finance Protection Board. This is the new thing that's helping consumers with all these kinds of issues. They have a report. That's the report. You go to consumerfinance.gov, okay? This report is dynamite. It shows you exactly what's wrong with these things. And so you get that. You go through it. If you can't understand it, then you call your local HUD office. Okay, well that's another slide. That's another group you go to. But the consumerfinance.gov. Okay, I'll show the other one slide. What's that? Number 26. Okay, responsiblelending.org. Okay, .gov. That means it's a government website. .org, that means a nonprofit. So that means they're not selling you stuff. And you have to be careful. Sometimes .orgs are selling you stuff. But responsible lending, these are an overseer, a consumer office that has wonderful information about the downfalls of this product. And that's where you have to understand the implications. Are you ready to lose your home? And how that will happen. Are you ready to cut out your heirs of anything? Are there options if it's just because of money? Are there other ways to do this? And have you investigated them all? See, those are the things. They're not going to tell you all that. They're selling you something. They'll have an answer for anything and want you to come to them and get your business because they're going to make a ton of dough off of you. I mean, a real ton of dough. That book from the consumerfinance.org, it'll show you. I mean, they're making like $10,000, $20,000 off you. So they're going to spend a lot of time, whining and dining you to try to get you signed on that dotted line. These other organizations, I'm telling you, that do the independent research about this product and will help you with that. And then how do you find help? The HUD counseling, you dial 211. Okay, anywhere in the country, you could dial 211 and find out nonprofit organizations that will help you with your problem no matter what it is. So if you have a housing problem, you have this kind of a loan you're considering about, you could just call 211 and say, hey, I need some, ask for HUD counseling. Because these are, like Darish, who didn't show up, I mean, he gets a grant from the government to help you for free, and they're HUD counseling. That's what it's all about, and that's what's cool about this stuff. So remember, just call 200. Don't call that 800 number you saw on TV. You want to call them first, and that's important. Okay, now watch this video. Here's a video from, Consumers Union. They're the Consumer Reports people, okay, real consumer oriented. Okay, watch this video, number 20.
Hi, my name is Norma Garcia, and I'm a senior attorney with Consumers Union, the nonprofit publisher of Consumer Reports. I'm here today to talk to you about reverse mortgages. Reverse mortgages is something that we've all heard of, especially recently, as there have been many ads on television and on the radio pitching reverse mortgages to seniors who may be needing additional funds or want to figure out how they can get more money out of their home. What a reverse mortgage does is, instead of you making a monthly payment to the lender, the reverse mortgage lender makes a payment to you. You actually get a check. And every payment that is made to you is taken out of the equity in your home. Reverse mortgages aren't for everyone, but they're being pitched to pretty much everyone. And we recommend that anyone considering a reverse mortgage, that they first seek independent counseling to determine if a reverse mortgage is right for you. The best way to do that is to contact a HUD-approved counseling agency in your area. You can call 800-569-4287, 800-569-4287, and that will connect you to HUD. You will have an opportunity to listen to a menu, click on the option that will get you to information about HUD-approved counselors who provide home equity conversion counseling. Give them a call today before you sign on the dotted line. It's really important that you consider all your options before signing up for reverse mortgage. A reverse mortgage can be a very expensive way to borrow money, but in some cases it can be the only option for people, and in that case it may make sense. But there's no way of knowing for sure until you've had someone look at your personal financial situation in light of all the options out there. For more information on reverse mortgages, go to www.defendyourdollars.org. Thank you.
Okay, now there's somebody really independent, right, who can tell you, I mean, there's obviously something wrong with these things, and somebody that's selling them is not going to tell you. Now you're wondering who the guy in the T-shirt is. Well, he's well, he's got something special with him right here. His name is Ryan Lane, and he just made $20,000 in 20 days for his invention. Put that up. Show him what this thing is. Yeah. And then, can you tell what that is? Well, look how small it is. You ever see these? I mean, I live in Washington, D.C., with all the yuppies around you. Walking around. On their way to yoga, everybody and his brothers on their way to yoga. And they have these big, they look like, knapsacks or something they're carrying around, or duffel bags. They look like cowboys, and they're rolled back. Sort of. Yeah. This thing could fit almost anywhere, right?
That every time I see one of those people, I think, that's somebody who should have a yoga mat.
Right.
And while I'm not obviously trying to promote every time I think about that. Yeah, it fits in. It fits in purses. It fits in bags, and that was the idea behind it.
It's a wonderful idea, and let me show you now. He was a lawyer, very successful lawyer. How many years were you lawyering?
I'm actually still.
Oh, still lawyer. Okay, so he's still lawyering. Okay.
I practiced for a little while, never independently, but I've been a lawyer since I guess 5 years ago.
Okay. Show 61. This is what changed his life.
Oh yeah.
This is.
That's me. That was me.
How long ago was this?
That was September 20th, 2008. So
September 20th. So 5 years ago, you broke your neck. How the hell do people live breaking their neck?
I'm one of the few that's lucky enough to not have to be in a chair. Again, I got lucky.
Wow.
I ended up having a fractured neck that got titanium plates and screws placed in there, and I was in recovery for about a year.
No, just leave that last one. Oh, yeah, that, okay. No, put his, not that one yet. Tony and I haven't worked before. He's very good, better than I am. That's the problem. She's thinking ahead of me. And I don't know where I am going yet. But, okay, go back to the first one on Ryan's first one there. That 60. That's his website on Kickstarter. You're still there. You're a lot more money. This is yesterday, last night, and you're like $500-600 more already.
Yeah. It's been amazingly successful so far.
Yeah.
This iteration.
Right.
I started the Kickstarter to fund the first round of production of the mats. The mats, there's minimum quantities whenever you make anything, even a custom product like this, and I ended up deciding that I wanted to see if I could get other friends who had expressed interest involved and find a way to collectively fund the project with individuals who wanted to participate in having one of the first ones.
So, I mean, people don't realize, Kickstarter is a place that you could go and you have an idea like this, right? Yeah. And you say, all you have to do is make one, right? You don't have to figure out the rest of it yet.
Yeah.
And then you go on Kickstarter, and it costs you really not much. I mean, if
Very
you boost a
little.
little bit of
Yeah.
video, right?
Very little.
Put on there, see if anybody's going to find the sucker.
You don't
right?
even have to have a video, although you are a lot more
Yeah.
successful statistically if you do, because people want to know who they're dealing with and what they're buying. So, you know, if you have a way to be transparent with a video, it helps people. But aside from time and passion, there's very little initial investment that you have to make.
But I think what's really interesting, now we can put that slide in. Tony, that third one of his?
Oh, that one.
No,
I think that's you.
Yeah, right. That's your other thing. You forgot to wear. I have it on for you now. But what's interesting about your story to me was that you tried this a couple months back, right?
I did, and I wasn't successful.
Now, you're a smart guy, went to a lot of money, bought all the schools you went to.
You know, and I like reading books and figuring out how people have done things in the past. And you know, I knew a little bit about Kickstarter, but there are details that you need to know in order to be successful, even as a first-time, you know, venture into Kickstarter.
How long ago was that?
You know, it was it followed closely behind the coattails of this next campaign because I didn't want to quit.
No, how long ago was your first campaign?
The first campaign started close to the beginning of the year. It was,
I see.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't long ago.
a couple months ago.
Yeah. And
so what got you that point? I mean, what was the tipping point? You said, "Oh shit, I'm going to do this." Yeah.
Well, you know, it's not cheap to fund a first round of a product, for example. And I knew that I
have to make the.
I knew I needed supplies, and I knew I needed to pay a manufacturer and everything. So you know, I got to the point where I knew what I needed. I identified the individuals and the companies that had the materials I needed to put it together, and I realized, based upon a budget that I had sketched out, I knew how much I needed to raise, and I knew I didn't have $15,000 to $20,000 of my own pocket money. You know, I am an attorney with lots of student loans, so and a single dad. So you know, I decided this is a point where I could take a couple different directions. I could have shelved the whole thing, but
so you're sitting there with this idea,
and
and you knew it costed $20,000 to get it off the ground.
Yeah, and it keeps me awake every night that I think, here's this great idea. I see everybody walking around with these ginormous heavy mats on their shoulders, and I think, with all the people that do yoga, I mean, it's like carrying around five or six, different milk cartons at once. And why do that when I have this great idea? I patented it first of all, so I did a little bit of protection.
So you're a lawyer.
Well, I hired someone to do that. A good lawyer
knows when he's not good.
A good lawyer has a fool for a client if he represents himself. Right. But I knew that I needed help, and I decided that rather than wait another 2 or 3 years to save that money, I wanted to talk to people everyone I showed this thing to loved it. And so I decided, the whole concept of Kickstarter, as it was explained to me the first time, is, hey, I want to throw a big party, and I want to have the best DJ on the East Coast show up. How can I do that? I'm going to ask all my friends for $50. So, you get 100 of your friends with $50, and you can pay for
like a rent party.
Yeah. Everybody contributes, and I thought, if I can do that, and I can show people with a video and with, different great aspects of the product, how well, it will change things for them, why not try? So, yeah.
And so you went out and tried, and fell on your face, right?
Not on my head exactly, the broken neck thing. But no, I failed. I over-anticipated with very little media publicity how I needed to get the word out. And I also...
Let's show that slide again. He sent me a list of, I asked him, how could he identify or list the things that you learned from that failure? Because I think we all fail. That's the important thing about failing. So what you were saying to me is that you had to lower your goal. I mean, you had you were trying to do too much or something like that.
Yeah. So the first time I decided I wanted to try to raise $36,000, which, if you take a look at Kickstarter as a medium, it's a pretty high goal that's set comparatively to some other projects. And so I decided I wanted to have 2 colors available, and I wanted to have T-shirts, and I wanted to have USB drives with videos, and I wanted to have straps, all this other crap. Yeah, and hire the most amazing yoga instructor in the world. I'm kidding. But anyway, it was too ambitious.
Yeah.
And I think that for a full-fledged company, that type of ambition is certainly a strong possibility. But nobody knew who I was.
Yeah.
Nobody knew exactly what this
And you
thing
weren't
was.
sure how to do it all. So, that,
No, and
so you learned that for the next time.
it
right?
was way too complicated, and I learned that for the next time.
And then you said something about the reward line.
Kickstarter, yeah.
Now there's a reward, so like if you buy something, there's like levels. You know, if you pay $100, you get, you know, to wash your windows or something like that.
You can put anything you want on there. I've offered to go for a run with people, or go to yoga practice, or even feed their kids. Yeah, no, you know, you can put anything you want on there. But at the end of the day, if it's not clear to people, why the hell would you throw money at it, right? And so I had written these big long paragraphs of all the stuff
You cool to you.
Yeah, and I realized no one has time to read through that stuff. So the next time I made them a lot more succinct and a lot shorter.
And this made those things sell better, the upgrade stuff.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is the simpler I wrote it and the clearer I was so that people could understand it, the more people have backed it and have donated it. And the less information I present, the more they're able to focus on what exactly I'm putting forth, which is the product. No extraneous stuff.
Okay, and don't please everyone. I guess maybe that's sort of
You
like
can't.
one, yeah.
You know, you can't. And there's always going to be people who have better ideas than you, but if you have a great one, try to please the people who are your core audience.
Yeah, just that. So keep it focused.
Yeah.
Build on word of mouth. So that's the key.
You got to come talk to people.
Yeah. And don't sell it self for why can't I just put it up there? And
Yeah.
people throw me money.
You know what? The product's great, but I've realized that unless people trust me, they're not going to trust the product. So talking to people, you know, talking to people at your gym, talking to your neighbors, everybody that you want and you think could actually use this. Try not to be irritating, obviously. Right. Then you're going to turn people off. But you have to talk to people, and the opportunities to talk to people obviously come up like this one. We're having this conversation because
Well, everything leads to something else. That's why when I was selling a lot, I mean, I do media anywhere. Media to people on the street or a dog show. That wouldn't be worthwhile, but that would lead to something else. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because somebody would see me on that or whatever, so you never know. So, and particularly if it doesn't cost you anything, so you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, exactly. You know, one thing before I forget, I wanted to add, and I hope you don't mind me doing a little bit of promotion, but 5% of all the money that I raise from this is going to go to an organization called Next Step Fitness. We've already identified a goal that we'd like to create something. We're going to put together a yoga video, an assisted yoga video for individuals who are paralyzed or individuals who want to help individuals who are paralyzed practice yoga, because believe it or not, it also is a modality that a lot of people can heal from. And obviously, as having broken my neck before, I'm passionate about helping individuals who have spinal cord injuries.
Was this only with vets or for anyone with
No, not just for vets, although I'm really excited that this will be something I can help provide to vets as well. But the video itself we're going to do through Next Step Fitness. And I mean, across the board, beyond the video, 5% of all my company's earnings after this takes place and during Kickstarter this year will go to Next Step Fitness.
Wonderful. And so you can still buy this now.
Yes.
Come back here. Oh, wait. Yeah, you still buy this now when he talks about it. So you can go to Kickstarter.com and just put in Yogo Mats.
Yeah.
Yogo Mats.
YOGOMAT.
And what's the base price again? What's it?
I think 45 is what it is. It's actually really market competitive.
Right.
I feel like I'm on Saturday Night Live when Alec Baldwin leans in and he goes, "My cookies." I feel like I have to lean in every time I talk. But yes, it's still available on Kickstarter. And
yeah, it looks like, but you passed your goal already. I mean, you must be really. Somebody was in the gutter just a couple months ago.
You know what? Failure is so funny because it as long as you take a different look at failure, it's always a learning opportunity. And I knew I failed. As soon as that campaign ended, and obviously it goes to 0 time, and you haven't reached your goal. Clearly you failed, but I thought, you know what, there's no way that if I did this again, I couldn't get the people who had already backed it, and I wouldn't be able to. So I lowered the goal from 36,000 to 16,000, got rid of everything else and said, I'm just going to have the mat. One color, just the mat. I'll let my backers decide. They've already started voting, so I already have a little bit secret info about what color it'll be. But I've also set another goal, incremental, and if we can raise 25 grand, we're gonna have a second color. And so I'm putting it in my backers' hands, and you guys have kicked butt, and I'm so excited. Thank you so much.
See, and he came dressed for the occasion. See, he dressed for yoga.
I would do yoga on the floor, but we really can't show it here.
Yeah. Can you spread it out?
Oh yeah. So one of the great things about it, obviously, it's small.
Right. Yeah, I see. Well, he's like a pitch man on home shopping.
QVC, you give me a call. This is the mat, and it's literally a full size mat. See, but these straps are reversible. And you can hang. Oh look, we're on a wider screen.
Oh, I see. Oh, wonderful.
You can actually wash it in the shower, and I don't know
so
if
you wash this thing in the shower, and I saw you just hanging up.
I don't know if you practice yoga, Matthew, but one of the things about big mats when you roll them up is they get stinky.
They would stink.
Yeah, mats get moldy and nasty when you try to wash them, and so there was a couple of different things that I designed this for. What's that?
Like my running socks.
Yeah, exactly, like running socks.
Oh, wonderful. Well, let's get Shane on the line. Dominique came here. She's here. Dominique Broadway. So hold on. She's going to be here too. But we'll get Shane. And, hi, Shane. Do you hear me yet?
Can I hear you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Matt. You can hear me?
Wonderful. So what's the weather like in Texas? Nobody wants to know, but I'm curious too.
It's like 85 or so.
Ah, well, that's almost here. We're like almost 70, yeah. So today you're going to tell us how to start a nonprofit organization where we don't have to hire a lawyer, right? There's a lawyer sitting next to me, so I don't want to say this loudly. So that you don't have to hire a lawyer to fill out the 501(c) forms to become a nonprofit with the IRS. Is that right?
Not at all. In fact, lawyers look at that topic forces that they charge about $1,000.
Is that what it is? About $1,000 mostly? But if you find a good yoga lawyer, I bet he'll be happy.
Well, maybe so.
Karmic prices.
Right. Yeah. So how do you do that? I mean, it's intimidating though, isn't it?
It is at first. When you download the form, it's called IRS 623. That's the form number.
IRS, what is that? IRS what?
1023.
1023. So that's IRS form 1023 if you want to become a nonprofit organization, right?
Right. You have to fill that out.
Okay. And then I see, because you sent me a copy of all this, and actually if people write me, I'll send them what you sent me. And there's instructions to fill out every bloody line, right?
Right, yeah. There's just instructions, details about how to answer all the questions, yeah.
Uh-huh. And so every line you have to fill out. I mean, the IRS, like said, I mean, to me, it's sort of like, what's the worst that could happen if you screw up?
Well, the worst that can happen is that there is an application fee, and if the IRS does not accept the form, you don't get your fee back.
Oh, you don't get it back. But can you change it? I mean, won't they call you and say, hey, this is screwed up because?
Well, yeah, so, I have several instances that were kind of like that. And I ended up having to call my congressman's office, and then he helped walk us through all of it.
Ah.
And it made it happen pretty quickly.
So you filled out a form, you screwed it up, and they said no. And so you called your congressman, and he beat on the IRS and got it through for you.
He did, yeah.
Wow!
That's a good terrible cause.
Yeah, it must have been election year.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's terrific. So that's what I mean. Actually, to me, it is sort of like, I mean, it can't. You said something very nice to me. Was you said they're not complicated. They're just long, right?
Right. Yeah. And really, the nice of it, probably about close to 60 or 70% of it you won't even touch.
Ah. So half of it you don't even fill out, huh?
Correct. Yeah.
And you said you've done about 20 of these already?
I have.
And you started with but you start the first one, you were just a virgin and jumped in and did it and kept going, right?
Right, yeah, and I learned a lot of that process.
Uh-huh.
And so with that, we've got kind of formula down where the last time I did it 2 weeks.
Wow. So, and you said, now, So the two things. So the worst case is what is the fee? $100 or 75 or?
If you might make it more than $10,000 a year, it's $850.
Oh, it's 850 fee. Oh, they can't.
Right, yeah.
They can't keep that on you if you screw it up.
Yeah, that's obnoxious.
Well, that's why you get Congress involved.
Ah,
That's worth a phone call.
right. That's worth a couple of calls there. Ah, I see. Oh God, well that's double if a lawyer screws up then, right?
Well, yeah.
How long does it take that to go through, by the way?
Right.
Go ahead.
How long does it take to have that process from when you submit it until when it gets returned successfully or gets rejected? How long?
Well, okay, so the actual writing application part, they take about an hour and a half right now. But now, once you submit it, it takes, the least amount of time is 2 weeks to get it back, and the most amount of time would be a month whenever it got rejected in Congress.
Okay, so 2 weeks is the shortest time you've gotten it turned around. Wow.
So I think the average is probably 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks is normal.
It's a little bit prohibitive, though, if you think about it, Matthew, because secretaries of states will turn around your application for a business license in like a day.
Right. Yeah. But
Or online.
That's like a fill out the form.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they also have a lot of states. Don't you have to fill out like to be a nonprofit in that state too? Is there another form at the state level?
Yeah, so before you turn in the 1023 form, there's a article of incorporation you have to file with the state, which is usually anywhere from 20 dollars. And those are refundable.
Oh, they are refundable, huh?
Yeah.
So this is at the state level is refundable, but the federal level is not. Huh?
Correct.
Wow, those feds, man, they're in debt. That's right. Actually, we're going to cover some debt orders. So how about help? Now, actually, you know what I thought when you said you were going to cover this? I have some slides here. What I was thinking, go to, what number we have here? 72.